Good afternoon, everybody. Brian, otherwise known as Stronzo5785 from my beloved nondescript little city here in the southwestern part of the United States. Um, the Once again, I run into another group of my Muslim friends out there who can't answer a simple question. That question is this: where are the early manuscripts for the Quran? I always seem to get this default position from any Muslim whom I ask that question. This default position consists of not answering the question but pointing fingers toward the Bible when I didn't ask about the Bible. I'm aware of the historical issues surrounding the biblical compilation. I feel very comfortable that the group of texts that we call the Bible, which is in reality a compilation of a group of texts, a large group of texts, I feel confident that that scripture is what God meant to have us know about Him in writing. I'm comfortable and confident about the method of transmission. I'm also comfortable and confident about the manuscript evidence that exists for the biblical compilation. When you have a thorough understanding of the weaknesses of using papyrus. Papyrus is a notoriously fragile medium. Unfortunately, back 2,000 years ago, that's all that they had. When you understand this, then you can appreciate why the different methods of transmission, why the large number of manuscripts are necessary, why we have to have this many manuscripts for the New Testament, over 5,000 in Greek alone. Now, let's fast forward a little bit to the Quran. The Quran, in the time which it was put together, we had parchment, we had vellum, we were able to get reliable manuscripts from that time, 600 years later. This information could have been written down very easily. Yet we don't have any reliably dated manuscripts back to the first generation after the death of Muhammad, let alone the Uthmanic recension. Why? Where are these? Every time every time we come up with some allegedly earlier manuscript, it's really interesting. A couple of different things happen. Either the organizations or governments involved with these manuscripts hide them and spirit them away so that we can't examine them, or they are not released at all to anybody to study. Gerd Puin et al. Tried to study the Sana'a documents when they were uncovered. This was back in the 40s or the 50s, I believe. And the Yemeni government, as soon as they were done taking their microfilm and everything else, they immediately withdrew the documents to, quote, protect them, and we were not allowed to take a second look at them until the 80s. Why? Why can't we look at these documents? They were dated 70 years after the death of Muhammad, 50 years. Well, even then, we can't reliably date them because we can't get at the original manuscripts. We can only study the microfilm that was taken by Gerd Puin. Why is this? It seems to me to be a fear reaction. When you are confronted, and for those who have children or nieces or nephews, often your children will bring up embarrassing things that you did in the past, and it's hard to sit there and confront them and to say, well, this was happening in my life when I did this, and I'm really sorry, and yes, you do have a point. Instead, I see what I have to categorize or characterize as a fear reaction. Don't face the question, deflect. Ask a question. It doesn't matter if it's true, doesn't matter if there are any grounds to ask this question. Just start asking questions. Start distracting. I have yet to hear one Muslim say simply this: yes, there are some problems with the manuscript evidence for the Quran. That's all you got to do. Instead, you get this fear reaction, this immediate lashing out, usually at Christianity, because the Quran so often attacks and issues polemics against Christianity and Christians as a whole. One other point: if Christians were so far off the mark so quickly after the transmission of the final testament, the New Testament, why did Allah wait a full 600 years to issue the final statement to set the record straight? If Allah were God, and if Allah is God, why didn't Allah immediately issue the Quran to set us all straight? This is a question that's best asked in theological terms, I'm sure, and I will grant you that. But that question needs to be addressed. We need to hear some sort of an answer. So far, the Bible, which has been carved up and studied and scrutinized and criticized, and the biblical compilation is held up. We got lots of evidence for the existence of the Bible. There are even critics who say that, there's all kinds of different ways of looking at and thinking about the Bible from a historical standpoint. Yet Christians don't avoid the question. Why do Muslims avoid questions about their texts? I'm hoping for some answers. I'm looking forward to the responses. If you'll notice, I'm not going to be approving video responses, so fair game. Anybody who has anything to say, please feel free to post, and I would definitely appreciate the same respect returned. All responses to this video should be open for open debate in public. We need to hear this. We're talking about eternity here. My name is Brian. I live in a small, little nondescript city in the southwestern part of the United States. Well, maybe not so small. I wish you peace, and I want honest answers. Even attempts at being honest will be welcomed. I want to know what you guys got to say. Thanks again, and blessings and peace.